structure. So basically we will start with Python. Okay. So Python, we know like it is a universal language for many of the tasks, right? So it is basically used in web application. It is basically used in automation of many of the tasks. And one of the functionality that Python programming also have is data science, right? So basically we will be taking leverage of Python language for our data science purpose. Okay, so we will be learning Python with respect to the data science activity only. Okay, so basically most of the data science activity that we do with the help of Python is by taking the leverage of libraries. Okay, so there are n number of libraries that are being used for our data science purpose, data science activity. So we will be going through all those library that we will be using for our data science purpose, right? You guys are able to hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She is there or not? Because he is not speaking anything.
She's there.
I'm there. I'm there. I'm listening. I'm sorry. I'm just simultaneously checking if I can log into Skype here on laptop. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
listening,
okay,
but
okay.
yeah, yeah.
I thought you should not get dropped off, right?
But yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, so I was telling like we will be using Python language only with respect to our data science activity, okay, not with respect to the automation part or the web development part. Okay, so we will be starting with some kind of like introduction of the Python. Okay, and then we will be seeing like about the installation, how we install the Python. Okay, so basically for data science activity we use the IDE of Anaconda. Okay, Anaconda we will be using it. Okay, so basically in this Anaconda we have two IDEs. One will be Jupyter and another is Spider. Okay, so for learning purpose or for academic purpose, most of the people use Jupyter, and in most of the companies or in corporate, they would be using Spider or they would be using PyCharm. So PyCharm is the paid one. Basically, you have to take a license of for corporate usage. Okay, so these are the three most famous IDE that we use for Python coding. Okay, any question till now?
Nope.
No.
These libraries are also called packages. Okay. So in this, after this, we will be studying something about the data type. So for every programming language, we start with the data type, right? So these data type is something like, for example, you would have seen in Java, C++, and all those languages as well, right? So we have here int and string. Okay. After that, we would be looking into something called as data structure. In this, we have list, set, dictionary. What else? TK Chandan?
Tuple.
These are the four most famous data structure of Python that we will be going through it. Okay. Then we have something called as NumPy, which behaves as an array. Okay. So most of the algorithm or the deep learning activity that we do, right? So this is the most important what to say, the data structure type that that it get leveraged for those kind of manipulation. Okay, so when you talk about linear regression or logistic regression, right, so the data are passed into a matrix form. Okay, and those data are manipulated with the help of an array. Okay, so this is one of the most important packages when we will be going through algorithm and all. At that time you would be seeing the structure of how we are passing our data into the algorithm. Okay, so at that time this is the structure of the data type that goes into our algorithm, in an array format. Okay, after that we have the concept of loops. Okay, so here also we have like for loop, while loop, right? After that we have the concept of conditions, which we would have studied in other languages also, right? So conditions is there. So here we have if else, if elif. So these are the loops and conditions that we will be going through it. And then we have Panda package. Okay, so Panda is something like a SQL for Python. Okay, how we manipulate, how we retrieve the data, manipulate the data in with the help of databases, right? Whether it is Oracle or whether it is SQL Server or any sort of databases, right? So the same manipulation you can do in Pandas with the help of Panda in Python. Okay, it will act as a data frame here. Okay, and then we will have something called as visualization, where we would be visualizing our data that we are going to do the modeling on. So during the exploratory data analysis and all those, we would be using our visualization technique. So for that, we have a package as matplotlib seaborn. Okay, these are the two packages that we will be leveraging during our visualization technique. Okay, so these are basically these would be basically related to the math stuff. Okay, so we have a package called math that we would be seeing into when we will go into the code. At that time we will be seeing like most of the activity that we do with data structure or data type, right? We would be using the math package at that point of time. Okay, we have some kind of advanced topic also. Okay, so in advanced topic we have something called as list comprehension. List comprehension. Okay, we have something called as parameter, and we have something called as iterator and generator. Okay. And we have something as oops concept or oops basic concept. So Python is also an OOP programming language, like how we have Java, right? Object oriented programming. And then we have something called as exceptional handling. How to debug our error. Okay. So this is basically related to the from a Python perspective. Okay, from Python perspective, these are the topic that we will mostly cover into. I need to look into these topic, whether we will be going and covering or directly jumping into the algorithm part. But these are the mandatory topic of Python that we need to cover it. If you are going for into data science with Python programming language. If you're going with R, there would be some other topics that you need to cover it, but with Python you need to cover these topics. Okay, now coming to the algorithm part. Right, coming to the algorithm part. So basically in algorithm, first and foremost thing is the statistics part. And then we have the ML algorithm. Right. So in statistics part, what are the things, TK?
Hello.
Yeah. What are the things in statistics part that we should focus upon?
And there are descriptive and mean, median, mode, and correlation.
Okay. So basically, yeah, TK is correct only. So basically in statistics part, first we need to look into the types of data. Okay. So for different types of data, our analysis will vary accordingly. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And when we go for the statistics, there would be lot of assumptions that we need to make it. There are lot of assumptions that we need to assume on working on our data, right? Similarly, if you go with algorithm also, there would be set of assumptions that you have to follow before building that model, right? While training your model, you have to assume few of the things that your model should behave or your model should have these output. Then only you can train, then only you can move forward in building those models, right?
Yeah.
So for these assumptions, we will be going and doing hypothesis testing. There is a concept of hypothesis testing where we will be using
T-test.
t-test, z-test, right? What else? f-test. F-test is nothing but ANOVA only. Okay. Based on our business problem and based on our data type, we will be going and doing this hypothesis testing. Okay. We have something called chi-square test also, that also we will try to look into when we have categorical variable, right, with us. We just go and try to do chi-square testing also. So we will be looking into that also. Okay. And then we will be going and looking into our data. So when we look into our data, so there would be n number of variable with us, right? So there are two possibilities to look into our data. One possibility is to look each and every variable, right? So for example, if I have a data set with name, age, gender, right, location, and all sorts of variable I have, right? So I have name, age, gender, right, education, all sorts of these variables, right? So I have a leverage to look into one column at a time. I have a leverage to look into two column at a time, right? So based on these kind of analysis, we call, if we are going with one kind of variable, like we are looking one variable at a time, then we call this analysis as univariate analysis. Okay. If we are looking at two variable at a time, we will call them as bivariate analysis. And if we are going and looking for more than two, then we call them as multivariate analysis. Multivariate analysis. Okay. Fine. Then we will be going and looking into correlation, concept of correlation. What actually is the concept of correlation and how we do it in, and what we look into correlation that is useful for our model building. Got it? After this, we will be looking into something called as imputation technique. Right. So it doesn't mean like if we get our data set, right? So it doesn't mean like once we are getting the data set, all our column would have complete data set, right? There might be a row where we have a missing value, right? So these missing value need to be removed before we proceed for our model building, right? We should have complete value, then only our model will be trained well and it will be helpful for our prediction, right? So what we will be doing kind of imputation on our data set. Okay, so for imputation technique, we mainly use mean, median and mode technique. Okay, so basically mean and median are used for the continuous variable. Okay, and mode is used for categorical variable. So types of data when I was talking about, so it was something like kind of type of variable. Okay, so we have two type of variable. We have something called as continuous and we have something called as categorical. So in this also we have bifurcation, but once we will do this topic, we will look into the granular part of that. Okay. Okay, and after this we also have to do cleaning of data. So if our data set is having any kind of garbage value, right, all those cleaning also has to be done before proceeding for model building, right? So these cleaning will come as like outlier,
Null values.
garbage value cleaning. For example, if we are not having like on a particular week, right, we have a variable, but data would come after 2 weeks of time, right, for any kind of variable, right? So sometime what happens, the data team will go and put just 9999 for that time, right?
Yeah.
We will not have that data. But if we are pulling our data from our database and we get these sort of variable, right, it won't make any sense during our prediction because age cannot be 99999, right? Sorry, gender cannot be 99999, right? So these kind of cleaning we have to do while doing the data pre-processing steps. Okay. After that, it would be missing value, which I have discussed at top. Then we have outlier. What else we have in this? So these all things would be something called as treatment of data. Okay, also we call it as data pre-processing step, where we are trying to clean our data set. Okay. And whole part, if you see from like from here to here, right? So this is something called as exploratory data analysis. You might have read an article or you would have heard somewhere like most of the people do exploratory data analysis, right? You should be good in, or if you see any JD, right, so they will write you should be good in exploratory data analysis, right? So this part is basically called as exploratory data analysis. Okay, where most of the time goes in, so around 70 to 80% of the time will go in this part, in doing all this part. Okay, after that would come as ML algorithm part. Okay, so ML algorithm, it is something like again based on our business problem. Okay, so we have two kind of ML problem. One is supervised and another one is unsupervised. Okay. So basic difference between these two is like if we have a target variable as our dependent variable. Okay, so we will go and use supervised learning. Okay, if we don't have any sort of target variable, at that time we will be using unsupervised machine learning algorithm. So when I talk about supervised machine learning, so in this also, like it is something like we have two kind of business problem. One would be kind of regression problem. Okay. Another would be a classification problem. Regression problem is if our target variable is continuous. For example, sales. Okay. We need to do a prediction of sales for the next 6 months of Walmart. Okay. So we will be using regression technique to do the prediction part. Okay. So in this set of algorithm that we use is linear regression. Okay. Linear regression or polynomial regression. Okay. We have something called as lasso ridge, which is an advanced kind of regression. Basically, when we go for regularization, at that time we use this one. Okay. We can use decision tree regression. Okay. We can use random forest regression, or we can use XGBoost as regression. Pardon me for the spelling here. Okay. So these are for regression. Okay. When we have something called as classification. Okay. So where we want to classify our customers, right? Whether a customer would churn out in the next 3 months. Okay. For example, if in the case of telecom industry, right now you are using a Vodafone network. Okay. But in coming days, you might switch to Airtel because of n number of reasons, because of connectivity, because of not good offers, or anything, might be anything, right? So those kind of problem, right, where you need to classify a good customer, a bad customer, right, a fraud transaction, a non-fraud transaction. Okay. So those kind of business problem we deal as a classification business problem. Okay. So there also you can use algorithm to do these predictions. So there mostly we start with logistic regression. Okay. Then we go ahead with decision tree, random forest, SVM, KNN, right? We can use KNN, SVM as well here. Okay. So these are there are more also, like XGBoost, all those also you can use it. Okay. Now coming to unsupervised. Okay. So when we don't have any kind of target variable where we have to do some sort of prediction. Okay. At that time we use, like, for example, you just need to segment your customer. So you want to do some kind of campaign analysis, or campaign, you want to start with some kind of campaign, and you want to understand what are the group of customer that you need to give that offer, right? For example, Flipkart is going to launch a campaign. Okay. So Flipkart won't be sending a bulk mail to all its million customer, right? It will identify a set of 1 lakh or 2 lakh of people or less than that, and then they will send them, either message them through SMS or through an ad. They will try to can do those campaign, or through email they would be giving them the offer detail, right? So those set of problem statement, we call them as unsupervised machine learning. So algorithm that we use there are mostly known as clustering and segmentation. So basically you would be either clustering your customer or doing some kind of segmentation, so that from that population, group of population, you are taking out your potential customer, okay, for your campaign or any sort of promotion. Okay, so basically we use here k-mean algorithm or hierarchical. Okay. So these are the two most. There are another also, DB scan and all. So we will see. If we have time, we will see those also. Okay, but these are the two most important algorithm for unsupervised learning that almost every company uses. Okay. Apart from this, we also have another set of uh, not algorithm, but if you might would have heard about forecasting technique, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so most of the company also focuses on this forecasting technique, where we use technique as moving average, or you would have heard about ARIMA, right? Or you would have heard about Arimax, right? Or you would have heard about SARIMA, right? So these are the algorithm mostly being used in the forecasting technique. Okay, so overall structure of the preparation will be like this. Okay, where we will be our first step would be dealing with the Python, so that we have a basic handhold of the programming language, and then we will jump on to our algorithm part, where we will take a data set. Okay, and then we can practice on that data set, so that we will have the concept also, the theoretical part, that what does it mean and how we can apply on the data set, right? So that is how we would be going and doing our preparation. So this is the overall structure. Any doubt, or you all were aware about this? TK and Chandan would be aware about it. Salma, they might have given you this overview in the first class, like what does the whole, like how each and everything is segregated and how you can connect these dot, right, in their class, first class.
Yes, yes, yes. And I've also gone through a few videos which you have shared, right, through Udemy. So little
Yes,
understanding
yes,
is there, yeah.
yes. So this is the complete structure. Any doubt in this, or any part that how it is related, what actually it is?
I think I've heard about all these points or topics. I accept the maybe unsupervised learning is something very new to me. I mean
Okay.
at least the terminologies, and also the forecasting methods. Also, I mean, I heard about the word forecasting, but how do they do it? I haven't gone
Yes,
through or
yes.
heard
So
about
I'm
it.
talking about the words only. It's
Yeah.
good that you have heard these words at least,
Yep. Yep.
right? Fine. So let me jump to the coding part. Let me start with this data type part, okay, in string. So we will start with the basic of Python from today itself. Let me know once you're able to see my screen again. Yes, so you're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, as I told you, right? So every task that we do in Python with related to data science, for most of the time we would be leveraging the package or the library, right? If until and unless you are going and writing your own function for that task, if you are writing your own function, then you don't have to call these packages. But if you are not using your own function and you are not pro with Python coding, then the developer, what they have done is, right, they have written a function and kept it in a package, which if you give a call to those libraries or packages, you can easily do your stuff. Okay, so I for this class basically I would be leveraging the package of math. Okay, library of math. So to import any package, right, so any package you have to write import in Python. Okay, so basically everyone is aware about this Jupyter notebook, right? Or you want me to give a go through of this Jupyter notebook also?
I know.
Okay, and if you want to do an installation, right, so you have to go to the Anaconda website. Okay, so you need to go to this website. Okay, and then do a download. Okay, after this download you need to come here. Okay, Anaconda, this 64-bit, and then you have to click on this Anaconda Navigator. Okay, so once you click on this Anaconda Navigator, uh, this navigator would open like this way. Okay, and from here you need to go to this launch Jupyter notebook. Okay, so once you click on this, then you will land on this page, kind of this empty notebook. Not on empty notebook, you will land something like this window. And if you want to open a new notebook, you can come here, new, and do a Python 3 notebook. So it will open a new notebook, empty notebook. Okay, and then we have everything here, like you will have like how to open a new notebook from here. Okay, if you want to make a copy of this notebook, you can do it. If you want to download this notebook, right, so you can download it in notebook format, or you can download it in Python format, or you can also download it in HTML format. Okay, these are the three things I have used. Basically I heard like if you want to download it in PDF format, you can try this, but once I have downloaded it did not came in correct format. But these three format I have downloaded it and it is coming in a correct format. Okay, and shortcut to run this is control enter. If you do control enter, it would run. Okay, and each number of time that you run, right, it will show a number here. Okay, so for example, if you run some cell at down and it is showing here 50, again you are coming back and you are running this, so this will now show as 51. Okay, so anytime any cell you can run it. Okay, it is not something like you have to run whole program sequentially. Okay, so pwd is a command to check your working directory, current working directory. What is your current working directory? Okay, and this is something called as importing the library. So basically what I have done in this code, I have assigned 5 to a variable x, I have assigned 5.5 variable to y, and I have assigned Python with data science into z. Okay, so I was talking about the data type, right? So data type in other programming language also we have studied, like data type is something like integer and string, right? So what it will do here, this 5 would get assigned to x, this 5.5 would get assigned to y, and this will get assigned to z. So the format of this x would be something as integer, right? Because we don't have any kind of decimal places, right? If you see this 5.5, so there is something called as float, right? We also have a data type, something called as float, right? So this 5.5 would be a float data type of y in y, okay? And this, as we know, this is a character, right? So this will go get an assigned as an string in Z. Okay. Any question in this? You can ask question. It should be interactive, right? Okay. So I have assigned this x, y, z, and then I ran this type, right? So the x class is something as integer, y class is float, and z class is string. Got it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So as I was talking about, right, for any kind of mathematical manipulation on these numbers, right? So basically with number, it would be mostly related to the manipulation part only, right? Either you look for addition, subtraction, factorial, or some kind of upper value, lower value, right? Those kind of manipulation we would be doing with these kind of data type, right? So for that manipulation we would be using this package math. So for example, if you see this cell, right, so we have math.ceil as y. So what does the ceil do in Python? It will give us the smallest integer greater than 6, the given value, right? So the smallest integer, okay, so anything which is uh, anything which is the smallest integer, okay, after 5.5, which would be the smallest integer? It would be 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything after the decimal places which is the least smallest from the integer side, that we will be getting with the function of ceil. Okay, and what would be the floor? Floor would be the largest integer from this decimal point. Okay, so for example 5.5 is there, right? What would be the largest integer of 5.5? It would be 5, right?
Five.
Before that is 4, 3, 2, 1, which are all smaller than 5.5, right? So it would give me 5. Okay, again we have factorial, right? What does factorial do? It would be something like 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5, right? Until and unless we reach that number, we would keep multiplying all the number before that number, right? So here we will get 120. Factorial of 5 is 120, right? Another thing is square root, right? Square root of 5 is this. Another function is trunc. So trunc could return us the integer part. Okay, so for example 5.5 was there, right? So the integer part of 5.5 is 5, right? If it is 6.5, it would be 6. If it is 6.8, it would be 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now coming to f mode. F mode will give us the remainder part. Okay, so if 5 is divided by 2, it is the remainder would be 1, right?
One.
Basically it would return us the remainder part. Okay, f mode would be something like it gets separated into the decimal part and the integer part. Okay, exponential is something e to the power x. Okay, so x is here 5, right? will give us the exponential of that. Okay, this is the power function. Power is power function. Log, you all would have know about log. Math.e value you might be knowing, right? 2.71. In physics you might have used this e value, pi value, right? 3.14, all those, right? So these are the sum of the function. These are the sum of the function inside math that we usually do with our numerical data, from a numerical data point view. Yeah, any question in this?
No.
No.
These are the
Clear.
basically something straightforward. I just wanted to take you through like how we are doing these manipulation also. So these would be something like very basic, and you all might be feeling bored, but these are the
And no,
few
not
things.
really.
So these are like kind of very basics. Okay.
Yeah.
So another thing
When
is
I
that,
went to the first class, right, Naresh, in Udemy, so they actually started first with NumPy itself. So this is something new to me that there is something in a library called math. So yeah, so I learned something new today then.
yeah, so the Python is also like a calculator only, right? So if you do
Yeah.
like 2 plus 2, it would be giving us 4, right? So it is something like a calculator only. Fine. So we are talking about the operator, right? So it is something like here also like all multiplication, division or subtraction or bracket, all would be something like the BODMAS rule that we have studied during our school days. Okay. BODMAS rule of bracket, of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So this equation that we are seeing it, right, it would follow a BODMAS rule to get us a value of x. Okay, so complete manipulation gives us 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now coming to the string operation. So string operation, now what would be the data type of these two?
It will be string.
It would be string, correct. One thing in Python is it is like a case sensitive. Okay, so if you are writing anything in capital, right? If you are writing anything in capital, right, and by mistake you are calling, when you are calling that variable, you have written it small d, right? Python would not recognize this small d. Okay, it will throw an error. Okay, so Python is something like a case sensitive. If you are defining it with a capital D, you during calling also you have to write capital D only. Okay, if you are defining it with small d, you during calling also you have to write it small d only. Okay, so one thing
Yeah.
with the string. Okay. In Python, usually our math or in any other programming language, our index would start from 1, okay, and it would keep on going till n, okay. But in Python, our index would start from 0, okay, and then it would go to n. Basically, it would be n minus 1. Okay,
Okay.
understood this concept, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this would be like kind of day in day out activity when we would be dealing with the data sets. Okay, or going forward also, if we will get a scenario where we will be like doing the slicing and dicing of the data, right? At that time this concept would be very much needed during our slicing and dicing of our data set. Okay, so now for example, I have written a syntax of 0 to 6, right? String 1 0 to 6. So let me know what would be the output of this. So our
It's
string
like
1 is Python and data science, right?
Yeah.
And I am doing a slicing of my string 1 from 0 to 6. So what would be my output?
so it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Python. Python.
It will give Python.
What about others?
Python.
Oh yeah, Python. So, yeah, I think it's only 5. It will take. I think n minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, even a 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Python.
Okay, it will
6.
take Python, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I am saying, it will take P, it will take Y, it will take T, it will take H, it will take O. 1, 2, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4,
4,
5. Yeah,
5. Yeah,
till
Python.
here it will take. Okay,
Hmm.
so we will get Python. Okay, what about this string
Um.
2?
Oh my God. It will take 0. I think I.
So
What is it? Minus.
this is my string. Okay, string 2
Minus.
is int, float, and string. Okay, and I am slicing my data from -5 till -1.
This
Okay,
is something new.
yeah. So what would be my output? Chandan and TK.
-5 means it will take some reverse, right? Reverse calculate.
3, 4, 5. ESTRI.
String
String. Okay, Chandan.
It will give NG.
NG.
Will it give TRIN?
You should tell, right? You all have understood this one, right? Index.
Minus, I don't know. Right? Minus 5. I think STRI tree. STRI. This is the final one from me.
STRI. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this. Uh, so in Python, how it works, like in feed forward. Okay, when you are going from 0 to 6. Okay, for example. Okay, so if you're going from left hand side to right hand side. Okay, so it will start with 0. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it will be, it will go with this range. Okay, 0, and then it will go in this right hand side. Okay, and whatever would be the upper case, right? Whatever would be this upper number, it would be always be giving -1. So if you are taking it from 0 to 7, okay, for example, it would always give me from 0 to 6 only output. Okay, but in reverse order, okay, it is starting with 1. If you see the numerical part, it is starting from 1. Okay, not the 0 part. So here if you have this upper boundary, right, that also would be included. Okay, see, from left to right, if you are going, understand very carefully. Okay, from left to right, if you are going, whatever would be your upper boundary, okay, that also would be included. Okay, if you are going from left to right, okay, whatever would be your upper boundary, it will be -1. Got it?
Hmm.
Understood, right?
Yep.
ठीक है.
So the string it will come.
It will
Really?
not come string.
You said 5 is also included, right?
Yeah, 5 is included, but
Space is
see,
there.
Okay, yeah,
this
yeah, yeah. So 3 in the
this
chat.
this this is at -1 level, right? From -1 it is going from this, from my right to left it is going, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go from here, right, so here I have one space as -1, here
Okay.
it is -2, here is -3, and here is -4, and here is my 5,
Okay. Find space. I didn't see. Okay.
right? So we
Yeah.
got it from -1 to -5, right? But if you are going from left to right, okay, whatever is your upper boundary, right, that would always be -1. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
5 minus 6 minus 1, 5. Okay.
5. Okay, because we are starting it from 0 here. Okay, from left to right. From left to right, we are starting with 0. Okay, but from right to left, we will be always starting with -1 only. Got it?
Okay. Got it.
So this is very, very important concept when you will be doing this slicing and dicing of the data. Okay, and it would be something like on a daily basis you will be doing in data science activity. Right now, TK would be using these things. Okay. Yeah. So now few of the string function is something like capitalize, right? So how to capitalize all the string, right? How to do case fold, how to swap cases, what is upper, what is lower, right? These are the few of the string function, right? So let me run this. So what does capitalize do? Capitalize will only keep the first letter capital, right? And rest all other letter it will make it in a lower case, if you see, right? What about case fold? Anybody aware about case fold?
No.
TK?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Just a minute. Case fold. No.
Chandan?
Forget actually.
So basically what it will do, it will give one as capital, one as
Oh,
small.
okay.
No, it has given everything in a small letter only. Okay, case fold would make everything in a small letter only. We have another command for that. Something else. Okay. We have swap cases. We have swap
Naresh,
cases for that.
it's already 9:40. Can we wind up? I got one.
Yeah, we can wind up. Just to give me 5 minutes, okay?
Yes.
Just 5 minutes, we will wind up. Okay, so swap cases, what it will do, every capital, it will make it a small, and small, it will make it as capital. Okay, uppercase, what it will do, it will make everything into uppercase. Lowercase, what it will do, it will make everything into lowercase. Okay, so I was talking about case sensitive, right? So there is a count function to count any alphabet that is present in that string. For example, I'm passing this str1, right, for count, and given as a. So there are 2a, right? So it will
Yeah.
return me 2a. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to have a specific position, the count, that also you can do. You pass it through the alphabet that you want to count, give the starting position and give the ending position. So between these two positions, any number of time this A would have repeated, it would give you the output. Okay, so between these two positions, you did not got any A. Okay, if you want to see the length of your string, you can use len command. Okay, if you want to see the index position of your data, where is this data is written, right? So you have to use this find command. Okay,
Yeah.
Fine. If you want to see like a specific position, whether it is present or not, you can use this. Okay. So these things I will take you through tomorrow. Okay, because index is very important topic. Okay, in Python. So from line number 32, we will start from tomorrow. Okay, we will talk about tomorrow because you need to understand little bit of concept here. What does it is happening here, right? So we can have a class tomorrow at 8:30.
Okay.
And from tomorrow we would stick like 1 hour of time because TK have meeting at 9:30. So
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, Naresh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Bye.
Bye.